So all these things, they are just trying to live in denial because election is coming and all. I don't get it. Oh. Jonathan did the same thing. They say he doesn't want to be too harsh with the North because of election. At the end of the day, did he not lose the election? A statesman does not behave like this. I didn't see any wisdom and intelligence in all the things Tinubu have done so far. You are using state power to muzzle out opposition. Is that a wisdom? Whether he like it or not, people are going to vote. You cannot force people to vote for you. If it happened before in Lagos, it can happen again. In fact, the ground for the Tinubu defeat in Lagos is more rife now than before. If you are saying nobody can win, then conduct a free and fair election. All this thing that they are doing with the court today is as a result of their what? Their uncertainty, their fear. Because we saw where this man was coming from, where he's going, but nobody paid attention. That's why he got in this far. But these are issues. In fact, you can add it to what Tinubu said the other day, that he will not hand over to anybody. Very arrogant statements. Help me tell the police that aye oshiwani eko, aye o parekpete. As long as those children are in the forest, aye oshiwa.
We have Barrister Darlington Agumo join the conversation as well. Good morning to you once again.
My pleasure.
And Williams Ajayi joins us from Benin. Williams, I hope we'll be able to get your audio this time around. And thank you very much for staying back with us. Let's get your audio first. How are you doing, Williams?
Good morning.
Great. Good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation. I'll be starting off with you. So let's just take the headlines from the Guardian newspaper. So the big story here is 58 insurers race against time to meet recapitalization deadline. And the riders to that headline, only 25 operators show readiness for required capital verification. Layoffs imminent as more players consider M&A. Insurers need 1 trillion naira fresh capital to meet new threshold. NICOM insists on July 31 deadline. And I would like to merge that headline okay, let's take that headline. There's a breakdown here. New capital threshold, we have 10 billion. New requirements, 10 billion naira. Old was 2 billion naira. New requirements for 3 billion naira, and then you have 25 billion naira as well. 1 trillion naira total industry capital needed. Reinsurance target is 35 billion naira. I mean, compliance struggle for the 3%, only for the 3% of firms are ready. Total licensed firms, 58. And then ready and complied, you have 25 firms. M&A as a survival strategy. It says most underwriters are forced to consider mergers and acquisitions to avoid liquidation. Well, let me start off with Mr. Okoro here on this one, and then I'll go to Williams. Let me start off with you first. What are your thoughts on this one? And then we'll go to Williams.
Well, it's a very good thing, recapitalization. But one thing about Nigerian insurance industry is that it is still at its lowest level. The average Nigerian doesn't know the value that the industry is more like under-patronized. A lot of people think about insurance as waste of money. And when you say life insurance, they say, oh, I've heard people when they go to market life insurance, they say, oh, so you want me dead? And I'm like, no, they don't want you dead. They want to secure your future for you. I know a lot of people also who in their early 30s and 40s, now they're in their 50s and 60s, who made investments on insurance, and they are living on that. As a matter of fact, a lot of Nigerians don't understand that there are so many insurance policies, life policy, business policies, and all of that, that if you put money there, and it's just like you keep making trickles, you just stop dropping money little by little. And before you know it, it becomes a pool, that you can draw from. So the way people think about insurance is that, well, you insure your vehicle, third party. And if something happens, the insurance company will come and repair the vehicle of the person that you hit. Or if you do something like comprehensive insurance, and when you go to insurance companies to claim that insurance, you start going back and forth. So it is that sense of, well, what does insurance do for you still beclouds Nigerians. So short of campaigning for insurance companies, I want to tell Nigerians that insurance is a good thing. I have a policy myself, and I know friends that have policies. And so it more like protects you for the future in case of happenstance, in case of accident, in case of sudden death and all of that. And so if they are talking about recapitalization, it is a good one. I hear that 58 of them are racing. By the way, if you look at our population in Nigeria, you discover that 58 insurance companies, we are underserved. I mean, that's not enough, to serve up about 230 million Nigerians. So if the government is trying to ensure that they recapitalize, it will boost more confidence in the industry, like the way we are recapitalizing banks now. And at least if I put my money in the bank, no matter how little it is, I will be rest assured that I can go to sleep, without having to worry if the bank goes down, whether my money will be secured and all of that. But we also have to revisit the issue of NDIC. I mean, if you have a certain millions of naira, like 10 million of naira, and the NDIC insures you to a tune of how much? At some point.
Some percentage, very minute.
Very minute percentage. And so that is what we need to work on. So it's a good thing that the financial sector, it's been scaled up to the extent that it's able to, absorb shocks, international financial shocks and all of that. And one good thing about insurance companies, people don't know that insurance companies have a pool of money that they give to banks. And so banks use them to lend to the real sector. Unfortunately, the banks are not doing that. And so you discover that most of these banks also have their insurance companies. And so you see Bank A, it has an insurance company. And so when they gather resources from the insurance company, which is more like idle, because some of the times you insure something for like a period of 10 years and all of that, and you don't touch that money. So it becomes a loanable pool, for the banks to. So you see a bank that has an insurance company, and so there is this synergy, this synergy that they use to gather resources. It's a good thing. Nigerians should patronize an insurance company. Capitalization is a very good thing. I'm for that.
All right.
Yes. Under insurance law, the principle of umbarima fidel, which is the guiding principle, that is full disclosure, utmost good faith, is lacking. That is the greatest enemy of insurance in Nigeria. Both the insured and the insurer are not always truthful in their insurance policy. It is at the point of indemnity that you begin to hear other things that was not there before, and issues will arise. And that is why most times people don't get value for their money or for the insurance policy they took. That is a very big issue here, but nobody is addressing it. Umbarima fidel. Unfortunately, because of this lacuna, most people are not interested or attracted to insurance, because when they hear stories of people who have bought their fingers because the insurance company did not pay as at when they should, because at that time they will now begin to look at something they should have done from the beginning when you are filling your form and all that. And for that reason, they may not pay. It becomes a legal issue. You start going to court. And so, because of all these hiccups, all these barriers and obstacles, people don't value insurance in Nigeria. They will prefer to go and buy shares, in companies or in SEC, where they will now make a maximum amount of money and all that. Now that they are making third-party insurance in motor vehicle compulsory, and maybe that is where you will see them. But apart from that, all these other ones that people are talking about, until the impression and the laws governing insurance in Nigeria is the issues involved are addressed, people may not be willing to take it up as they take up banking issues.
All right.
Yes, Mr. Agum, I do understand your point, and I appreciate that. I agree with you. It's a larger part of a Nigerian thing. You know, Nigerians don't like obeying obligations. You know, push your right, and someone comes here and says, "Oh, I was standing here before you," and I said, "I didn't see you." Nigerians will be the ones to say, "Oga, leave am now. Only you won't collect money." You know, and somebody, you are driving in traffic, someone shunts. You know, and if you try to block the person, Nigerians will be the one to say, "Oga, leave am, make it enter now. Now you get the road. Now Papa build the road," and all of that. So we are not very, very strict in enforcing the laws. In other crimes, insurance, you don't mess with people, you don't mess with citizens, because they will take you to court. Even if the court case lasts for like 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years, they will keep going. But here, the bank deduct us arbitrarily, without notice, without answers and all of that. And if you go to bank to complain, people will be the one telling, "Okay, this thing is 1,500 now. Just leave it now. Why are you wasting your time?" You say, if you consider the fuel that you spend to go to bank to report and all of that, you say, let it go. And so they take advantage of us. And you imagine, like this morning, my alert in my bank came in, you know, in excess of 1,700 for transactions, just SMS transactions, divided by 6. How many transactions did I make in a month? And because I can't go back to bank to start asking, you know, how did you arrive at 1,700 and something for since you charge 6 naira? Does it look like I did up to 60 or 50 transactions in a month? Do I sell crayfish? Do I sell akara? Do I sell kuli? Or do I sell corn? You understand? So because I don't go, another person doesn't go, another person does not go, you know, and so we have like 5 million people, 10 million people, you know, have the same deduction. And banks are smiling home with profits. And so that is part of it. You go to an insurance company, you insure, you know, at the end of the time, you pay their premium. You know, when it is time for you have a problem to redeem the premium and all of it, you start running up and down with insurance company. And people will say, well, leave them now, it is the way they do. Nobody will go to court. If you go to court, the case will stall in the court. So it's a larger Nigerian thing. And so insurance companies, what they also need to do is to remain faithful, because the word is fidelity. It's like if you go to bank, what bank sells is not the cash, it is the trust. I have the trust that if I put my money here and come back in 10 years, that my money will still be with you. It is that trust that they sell, not even the cash that they give you. It is trust. And so insurance companies need to start selling trust too. That is the only way the business will be opened up and they will have more patronage.
All right, then let's get into another conversation now. Politics proper. Dixon Kwankwaso meets as NDC alleges INEC denied portal access. The writers to that headline here. Party says lack of access code blocked candidate nominations. Ondo chapter rejects FHC ruling, that's Federal High Court ruling, vows to pursue appeal. Huriwa urges Tinubu to defend multi-party democracy. Falana seeks reforms, right protection before 2027 polls. APC chieftain dismisses Obi's 2027 exclusion claims. The Punch report says Obi Kwankwaso lead NDC's battle against deregistration. The writers, Obi Kwankwaso Dixon in marathon meetings as NDC files appeal today. Opposition party insists judgment won't stand. Vows 2027 ballot battle. Lawyers push speedy appeal as court ruling threatens NDC's bid. Do we have that headline in? Well, it appears in most of the dailies. And then, Peter Obi from the Vanguard now. Peter Obi can't beat Tinubu in Lagos again. Presidency. All right. And yes, of course. So that's pretty much, that's how the headline appears in most dailies. Let me start off with you now, Barrister Darlington.
On what ground would somebody say that? Is Tinubu the owner of Lagos? You know, when people make statements like this,
he's a city boy.
Is that what?
He's the city boy.
Are you serious? So Lagos is the only city in Nigeria?
He's the city
No, they are talking about Lagos.
Lagos is the only city in Nigeria that Tinubu, nobody can beat Tinubu in Lagos. Is he the owner of Lagos? You know, these are issues. In fact, you can add it to what Tinubu said the other day, that he will not hand over to anybody. Very arrogant statements. For somebody who claims to be a Democrat, you don't do things like this. You don't talk like this. you will not hand over to anybody. Is that your preserve? I mean, are you the owner of that seat? Even with all the baggages that is following you. And so in fact, I don't understand. Seriously, Nigerians have been pummeled into submission. That is why when things like this happen, nobody talk, nobody says anything. And they move over to the next infamy. Why these things is going on is because ab initio, people did not take Tinubu serious. They thought he was joking. But some of us were raising issues because we saw where this man was coming from, where he's going, but nobody paid attention. That's why he got in this far. If they had been trying to checkmate him from the beginning, he wouldn't have gone this far. And that's the truth. Whenever they commit this sin, somebody will come and defend it on the media. It does not matter. It does not matter. Yet it matters. And so, whether he like it or not, people are going to vote. You cannot force people to vote for you. If it happened before in Lagos, it can happen again. In fact, the ground for the Tinubu defeat in Lagos is more rife now than before. It is more rife now than before. If you are saying nobody can win, then conduct a free and fair election.
You were saying something about a secret poll conducted. Are you privy to the results of that poll?
Of course. That is why they are jittery. That is why they are jittery. Yeah, the poll, in fact, the poll, Tinubu is nowhere to be found in that poll. Obi is far ahead. You had Ladi said it here that it was 0.73%. I mean, minus 73%. Is that a victory? So something is pushing them into saying all this just to console themselves. If he's sitting pretty, if he is sure of winning, I don't think they will be this jittery. Seriously, they will not. All this thing that they are doing with the court today is as a result of their uncertainty, their fear. You know, if you are sitting pretty with 32 governors in your kitty, you will just be laughing. In fact, you'll be taking cognac every day, while the other parties are struggling and trying to catch up with you. But it is not like that. Moses, they know they have failed. You can see the wife have taken up a campaign already, donating money here and there. All these things is a sign of jittery. And so when Dare was talking, he was not talking to himself. Ojutila. People, I don't open now. You can no longer deceive them again. That is just the reality.
Okay, now it's a good thing that we are talking about this again. I'm on the other side. You know, during the morning show, when we talk about the secret poll, and I asked Barrister, you know, secret poll, so you are aware of it. Is it still secret? I knew what I was saying. It is not just APC, you know. Other political parties have also conducted their polls, you know, and I mean, the results are baffling, as a matter of fact. And I'm not surprised, and I'll be surprised that anybody is surprised to understand that the APC, you know, is at the lowest rung of that poll. Because if you look at the two basic things that a government is measured with, you know, in terms of economy and security, they have scored -0 if there's anything like that. Unfortunately, in those polls, even APC adherents voted against President Bola Tinubu. So he understands that. Now, talking about the president being intelligent, I think that the president is intelligent.
I disagree.
Barrister, I'm coming. The president is intelligent. But you know that intelligence comes in two ways, positive and negative intelligence. When I say negative intelligence, I mean, like I normally say, that we harness our creativity, ingenuity in the service of madness, in the service of the devil. I think the president is intelligent in the negative way. Why do I say
It takes intelligence to do the kind of things that he does.
He does.
Yes, it takes intelligence.
You know, when I say intelligent in the negative way, it is because it serves antisocial purposes. The president understands that if you deregister NDC, if you deregister ADC, that nothing will happen. He understands Nigerians clearly. He's a historian. He's a political historian. He has gone through the history of this country to know very well that if you remove Peter Obi from the ballot, what will happen? You can kill yourself in that part of the world, in that part of the country, for all they care. They don't give a damn. I want us to take the flip side, that it is Tinubu or a Southwesterner, I mean, I'm trying to explore our fault lines now, who is more like somebody to beat in a ballot, and you register the person's party, Moses, you and I wouldn't be here now. We'll know what will be going on in the streets of Isaleku. We'll know what will be going on in the streets of Maryland and the streets of Ikeja. The whole city will be shut down. And if you shut down this place, what happens? Shut down the airport, shut down the APA, shut down Marina and Broad Street. Nigeria will go on its knees. But if you do it in any other part of the country, they will just let you do it. When you get tired, you move on with your life. And so that is what is happening. I saw a lot of people also saw this thing coming. The president wants to be a sole candidate for 2027. And you don't need to travel far to see all of that. Impliedly, if you put things together, it might, and a lot of people have said it. Dewole Adebayo of SDP says Tinubu wants to be the presidential candidate for APC, for PDP, for Labour Party, and for SDP. He's on record. I asked him and he said it on my show. So it's not as if I'm the one saying it. I didn't make it up. Atiku Abubakar has shouted. Peter Obi has shouted. You know, but like Nigerians, everybody sit quiet and say, well, it must not happen. When we talked about one-party state, when they had about 16 governors or so, people didn't see it coming. At last count, they have 32 or even more. They have majority in the National Assembly. And yet we kept saying it cannot happen in Nigeria. It is happening before our eyes, in our presence. So the president is smart. He understands that Nigerians won't do anything. If you boycott the elections, INEC will declare him the winner. And you know what will happen? He's the president. Barrister said here that he said that he won't hand over to anyone. I didn't hear that. But if that is what he said.
He said it.
If that is what he said, you can imagine.
Well,
All right.
I would have, sorry, I just wanted to chip in. I would have hoped that at this point, you know, like we talked about it during the show, this morning, that maybe this is the time that the opposition, you know, should galvanize, unify. There's any
Come together.
Opposition, they are divided. They cannot.
Yeah, because if they
on
they
whose
can,
interest are they galvanizing?
Because
is
if
it on
they
the interest
can,
of Peter Obi?
Yeah.
Or in the interest of Peter Obi, or in the interest of Atiku
Because if they
Abubakar?
can't, we won't have split votes. Imagine all of them coming together and Nigeria's through
Jen,
their
I'm
way.
just telling you that they don't. Peter Obi wants to be president. Atiku Abubakar wants to be president. Bola Tinubu wants to remain president. So the best they could offer us is allow Nigerians to go and vote. In 2023, everybody voted. In 2019, in 2015, people voted. In 2011, in 2007. So why would 2027 be different? That's the big question. Why would 2027 be different? And if the president and the APC feel that they have done so well, then allow free and credible election.
All right. Fresh 4-week deadline over unpaid salaries. Doctors give FG fresh 4-week deadline over unpaid salaries. Unpaid allowances, I beg your pardon. And, okay. Well, that's one headline. We also have probe alleged diversion of 6.3 billion naira constituency funds. Serap tells NAS. Abuad Multi-System Hospital commences robotics surgery. Interesting times. Abuad Multi-System Hospital commences robotics surgery. Akume warns against reprisals as police arrest 10 over MACBAN chairman's killings. And these are, well, Senate defends state police bill as child of necessity. INEC releases access codes today as APC rejects fake list of candidates. NIMET workers to ground aviation activities over unpaid dues. There you have it. Those are the headlines there.
I want to support the doctors. My only worry here is that the casualties may be more on the poor masses. If not, I would have supported them to insist. Because government cannot tell me that they don't have money. They cannot say that. I don't see any of the political appointees that they are owing their salary and all that. And so a critical sector like hospital, Medicare, you neglect their operators for no justifiable reason. I don't think it's a question of no money. No, it cannot be. Because, in fact, I want to add it to what Serap is pursuing. That 6.43 billion or so, 3.6 billion that is missing from constitutional allowance. They should add the money Gbenga Komolafe took away from the upstream sector. They should add it and probe that money. I am interested in that money. Let Tinubu come and tell us how Gbenga Komolafe left with 5 trillion naira and $1.4 billion. He just asked him to go with that money. And you are owing doctors. How do you rationalize that? You are owing doctors and you allow the man, one man, to go away with that kind of money. It doesn't add up. So Serap should add to their action this particular money. They should call that man to come and explain what is we doing with Tinubu that should warrant him to allow him to go with that money.
All right. You want to say something? You want to take ahead?
Yes, about the medical doctors' strike. Well,
so that's the one you chose to stay with.
Yes, let me stay with it and just briefly. But before then, there's this robotics.
Yes, that's
in Abuad.
Abuad, yeah.
Is in which state is that again? Something University of Teaching Hospital. It's not. Yes, you know, and so it's commendable. It's commendable. We have the expertise to do all of that in Nigeria. The problem we have is the people that are leaving this country, all of them don't necessarily want to leave. I'm talking about medical personnel. But because of fluctuations in payment, you know, irregular salary, lack of equipment, lack of training. Look at National Association of Resident Doctors, you know, during residency. How many times do they go off because of emoluments and all of that? So it's a big problem. So we have the best hands in Nigeria. I told of my homeboy, you know, who went to UK the other day and he beat people from 36 other parts of the world.
Right. Abuad is Afebabalola University. Yes, that's
Afebabalola University
yes.
Hospital in Ado Ekiti. Yes, in Ekiti State. And so if they can do all of that, we in the north, I think AB, the university in Kano State, they perform one surgery, eye surgery, and they happen to be one of the first in Nigeria where they do kidney transplant, you know, seamlessly and all of that. We have all of these things. We have the personnel. We have people that were trained in Johns Hopkins University in America, and they work here. But unfortunately, we have a government that doesn't, you know, pay attention, you know, to the health sector. Neither do they pay attention to the education sector. And in some places, in the beautiful parts of the world, you know, they train the people, you know, that will develop the country. But here, we relegate people to the background. What do we do instead? Our politicians send their kids, you know, overseas to go and train and all of that. And when they come back, what do? They stay at top. The problem with Nigeria is Nigerians have kept quiet for too long. And I keep saying, any day Nigerians want Nigeria to change, Nigeria will change. I'd also like to talk about the access code, you know, to upload candidates' list. Or initially, we were told that it will happen on the 26th of June. I'm surprised that it didn't happen. And over the weekend, I was like, what's the problem? And they say it's going to happen again today. Meanwhile, some people are already complaining. APC is shouting, Barrister, did you hear?
Yeah.
That they have a fake list of candidates.
That was the reason for the delay. They said it was APC's making. That they deliberately want to delay to divert the attention of their members who will raise eyebrows.
Exactly the point. You know, so you understand what happened. Some people, when they said come over to the APC, they went over to the APC, they were denied tickets and all of that. But I would like to see how this issue of the NDC will be resolved. From what I understand about Nigerian politics, we might just be going back and forth till August, September, and campaigns will kick off. In the case we first go to appeal court, from appeal court to Supreme Court might eventually ask them to go back to the High Court, you know, just trying to buy time, waste time, and all of that. Look at what ADC is going through. Now, ADC, they said June 5th. From June 5th, they moved it to June 8th. Now, from June 8th, they moved it to June 15th. Now, the new date for the substantive case, you know, that Nafi Balagombe took the court, has been slated for July 7th at the High Court too. In all of this. So, who is going to upload? candidates list, is it Nafiu Balagombe, is it Atiku Abubakar, or is it Dumebika? So these things need to be resolved as early as possible. And so while these people are struggling, to put their house together, APC is already campaigning. The First Lady is campaigning. Sheyi is campaigning for his father. Sunday Dare is campaigning. And when they tell you that Obi cannot win in 2027, Nigerians don't want him to win, but allow him to be on the ballot. Is that not the first step? You said he is not going to win. Beautiful. Atiku Abubakar cannot even win what he won in 2023. We know they will not win. You will win. But allow them to be on the ballot. Let the election be free, fair, and credible. Is that not what we are asking for?
I wonder.
You said that president doesn't have popularity, yet you are still trying to stop him.
Obi is a nuisance.
He's a nuisance.
Allow us to decide whether he's a nuisance or not.
So it's a very simple thing.
No, but my worry here is that, look, I keep saying it. You see this thing that APC is doing with their Oga in Abuja. It will cause problem. Because I have done research, I have done my analysis on all the problems of African states where there is military incursion. Was it not election that caused it, Moses?
Yeah.
Was it not bad election that caused it? You saw what happened to somebody. You want to wait until it happened to you, Abi? So you mean if at the end of the day, Tinubu now decided that since he cannot win, therefore there should be no Nigeria, there should be no democracy, Abi? No, is that not what he's trying to tell us now? Because I can't see him losing this election like a statesman, like Jonathan did. I can't see Tinubu doing like that. He may try to ruffle the waters and make things difficult. And so, how can you now turn around and tell me that you're a Democrat? Because I've been hearing people say he's smart, he's intelligent. I didn't see any. Moses, I didn't see any. A statesman does not behave like this. A statesman does not behave like this. I didn't see any wisdom and intelligence in all the things Tinubu have done so far. You are using state power to muzzle out opposition. Is that wisdom? Is that smartness? You are using state power to do all the things you are doing. Meanwhile, the electoral law is against it. The constitution is against it. But you are doing it. So where is the wisdom here? If you want us to go and box in the boxing ring, all of us should be free now. Our hands should be free. Not when you tie the hand of the opponent and you are boxing. At the end of the day, you say you are the winner. What did you win? You didn't win anything. You only use state power to do whatever you are doing. And it is wrong. It's not allowed. I keep giving the example of Richard Nixon. Just for eavesdropping. That is, he's listening to his opponent to what he was saying. That was what? They shut him down. They shut him down. He had to resign when the impeachment was imminent. So when are we going to grow up? When? When we take one step forward, we take 10 steps backwards. When are we going to recover from what APC have done to Nigeria? When?
All right. Let's touch on insecurity for a bit before we coast home. Operation Kosaye. Police hunt kidnappers.
Kosaye. No space.
All right. Police hunt kidnappers in Lagos, Ogun Forest, leading to the arrest of 88 suspects and rescue of 5 kidnapped victims, recovery of arms and ammunition, and death of 4 suspected criminals during encounter with security personnel. You want to take that, Barrister?
Operation Kosaye. You can use all the language you want to use, but some people are seen in Oyo Forest. Ṣé ayé ni ẹ? You know, when people don't talk, I don't get it. Kosaye, Kosaye, but they are still operating.
Isn't this something? At least this.
What is the problem? What is something?
The police, they are combing the forest. They are trying to arrest. They've made some arrests.
Moses, I want to hear that there will be no more terrorism in the Southwest. No more. Then we'll now mark it down and start watching.
No, but it's a process now. It wouldn't just end like that.
Are you serious?
But my problem in all of this
you mean this type of thing has not been said before or done before?
Exactly the point. We have the police.
Remember,
you recall the issue of the bomb blast in Mushin.
Yes.
And when the DIG came out to say it was an IED, you know that they had to recant on Friday. They said it wasn't an IED, that it was equipment malfunction and all of that. But I think that what they were trying to do is to do damage control, to manage it. It was certainly an IED. It was. So what kind of equipment malfunction was that? And so because, before the DIG came out to tell us that it was an IED, you have the police bomb disposal unit didn't examine all of that before the DIG made that comment. And so when we live lies like this, when we live in denial, it speaks to, the kind of problems you normally get into. Police knows what the truth is. And like Barrister said, this is not the first time. At some point, Tinubu administration told us that they have killed 13,000 terrorists in some parts of the Northwest. And so how many do we still have alive?
I wonder.
Because they are almost everywhere. They are practically everywhere in all parts of the country. And so in intelligence, we understand that they say that in intelligence that the whole, the sum total is always less than the whole. I do appreciate the fact that, there might be mistakes here and there, but they should also tell us the truth. We cannot be losing the war and you are telling us that we are winning the war. At some point, Nigerians will not even believe anything that you say, and we have reached that threshold where if government says something, people will say, well, it's a lie, even when it is true.
As I talk to you now, this Operation Kosaye, let them tell me now that there is no terrorists around all the forests in the southwest, in Ondo, in Ogun State here. Let them come and tell me that nobody again, they can't find any terrorists in these places. And so what is the guarantee that they will not operate from there?
All right.
So all these things, they are just trying to live in denial because election is coming and all. I don't get it. Jonathan did the same thing. They say he doesn't want to be too harsh with the North because of election. At the end of the day, did he not lose the election? What came out of it? All right.
Well, this is how far we go. Thank you very much.
Help me tell the police that aye oshiwa ni Eko. Aye o wa repete. As long as those children are in the forest, aye oshiwa.
All right, Kosaye. We will not allow any aye to exist. Thank you very much.